These violations are completely unacceptable, sir. You must remove these immediately.
I am the city attorney. These documents are legally protected. I suggest you cease and desist.
Cold air bit my cheeks as I opened my door and nearly tripped over a stack of neon notices curling on my sidewalk. The street lamp hummed. Somewhere a cruiser idled. Blue lights strobed against wet asphalt. The air smelled like last night's rain and burnt coffee from my travel mug. On top of the stack, a woman with a clipboard, perfect hair, tight smile, stuck another paper to my mailbox with painter's tape. She chirped, "Lawn height, mailbox paint, wind chimes after 9:00 p.m. Unacceptable." Then she snapped a photo like I was a zoo exhibit and sashayed off. I flipped through the pile, my fingers going numb. The pages scraped like sandpaper. Noise violations, fence color, a garden gnome facing the street, a welcome mat with the word nope. It looked personal. It felt like war. This was the headline in my head. HOA posted 63 pages of violations. On my sidewalk, had no idea I am their city attorney. That's what this fight was about. Not my roses. Not the gnome. Power and pettiness. I skimmed the dates. May 3, 2024. May 7, 9:15 a.m. May 15, 6:01 a.m. A complaint even listed my porch light as too warm. I laughed once. It sounded like a hiccup. A neighbor across the street shut his blinds so fast they clapped. Another one watched me from behind a curtain, eyes wide. Karen with the clipboard stood with 2 board members at the corner like a little jury. I called out, "Can we talk like people?" Karen said, "Appeals are by form only." She handed me a wrinkled copy and turned her back. I tried the proper door first. I filled their form. I asked to speak at the next meeting. I showed them photos of my lawn, my fence, a receipt for the approved mailbox paint. Silence. Then came the email storm. 12 notices in 3 days. One claimed I parked too close to my own driveway. Another dinged me for a trash can visible for 6 minutes. I called the number on the notice. Voicemail. I walked to the clubhouse. Locked. A neighbor whispered from his porch, "Don't cross her." Last guy who asked questions got a daily fine. $100 here, $200 there. He rubbed his temple like it hurt to remember. I nodded, jaw tight. I wasn't scared of fines. I was angry at the game. I told myself out loud, no yelling, no stunts, no revenge that breaks rules. Only proper channels. Then I turned on my kitchen lamp, made a list, and pushed to my line in the sand. I got to work. Receipts montage. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. I printed their bylaws and highlighted the parts they forgot to read. I opened the city website, then the county records site, then the state registry. Public records moment. The file landed with 63 pages. It covered incorporation papers, asset statements, meeting minutes, and a line about a complaint history going back 3 years. I built a timeline in black ink. Timeline item 1, April 5 at 4:27 a.m., false trespass call. Timeline item 2, May 3 at 7:22 a.m., mass posting of notices. Timeline item 3, May 9 at 5:58 a.m., doorbell lens, photo of my gnome. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. Plain law. Simple. Also plain law. HOA rules cannot conflict with city codes, and no HOA can enforce a rule not properly noticed. There are notices at dawn with tape on mailboxes. Federal statute says mailboxes are off limits. I kept my shoulders loose. I let the facts breathe. I booked my slot for public comment at the city council because proper channels cut cleaner than any shovel. The payoff twist came on a Tuesday. Council chamber. Warm lights. Cameras like dragon eyes. Karen and 3 board members sat in the second row, whispering. I stepped up at 7:05 p.m., binder under my arm, palms steady. I spoke in the easy voice I use when I present cases. Because, yes, this was the part they didn't know. I am the city attorney they email when they want special treatment. I introduced myself with my full name and title for the record. A slow hush rolled across the room. Karen's jaw slid sideways like a drawer off track. I laid out the coded items: mailbox tampering, improper notice, selective enforcement, fines without due process, and the dawn postings. I put one of their neon notices on the overhead. I showed the line where the fine jumped from 50 to 200 without a vote. I displayed my labeled timeline. Then I said calmly, "We have received 11 complaints from this HOA against multiple residents in 30 days, and 8 were false or duplicative. This is a pattern. We recommend an audit and a compliance plan." Phones came out like flowers turning toward the sun. Neighbors filmed. Someone whispered, "Oh my." The comments lit up on the feed. Not the city attorney. Girl boss meets actual boss. A kid in the back tried not to laugh and failed. The board members stared at their knees. Karen crossed her arms so tight it looked like a self-hug. After my 3 minutes, the council chair asked the code inspector to speak. He held up a stack of site photos and said, "On May 3rd, 2024, at 6:40 a.m., I observed HOA agents placing notices on private property and on a mailbox, which is prohibited." The room hummed. A local reporter tapped her keyboard like it might break. Online, the clip hit 12,000 views by midnight. Comments poured in, 63 pages. For a gnome, authority flipped fast. The police chief stepped up next. He said their records showed 2 false welfare checks placed on neighbors who had done nothing wrong, and both calls traced back to a number registered to the HOA office. He looked at Karen like a teacher meeting the kid who wrote on the wall. The council voted. Unanimous. The city ordered the HOA to suspend fines while our office reviewed their enforcement procedures. The inspector issued a warning on improper notices, with a deadline, 14 days to fix. The treasurer blanched when the audit item came up. Numbers don't like daylight. I added one last plain line for the room. When volunteer boards overreach, they put the city at risk and themselves at liability. We prefer compliance, not punishment. But we will act. The council chair nodded. The gavel sounded like a period. Aftermath came the way peace always comes, slow, then all at once. The dawn notices stopped. The fines got reversed for me and 4 others, totaling $1,200. Karen stepped down as compliance chair. The HOA had to hold a real election with secret ballots and proper notice. 2 new board members won by large margins. People came out of their houses again. I planted marigolds with the kid next door on a bright Saturday. His mom brought lemonade and laughed about the gnome. The neighbors waved at me like I was a person, not a file. At the next meeting, a woman I barely knew stood up and said, "Thank you for using the right way." I shrugged and said, "Rules cut both ways." And now the sidewalk is clear, the roses are allowed to be roses, and my welcome mat still says, "Nope." That feels like a yes to me. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.